SCESS, Enhancing School Counseling Programs. The learning goals for this session is to understand the SCESS process and understand the role of the school counselor through the SCESS evaluation tool. School counselors are evaluated using the Texas School Counselor Evaluator and Supportive System, SCESS. SCESS provides a structured process for evaluating school counselors, focusing on their performance in relation to the ASCA National Model and the Texas Model for Comprehensive School Counseling Programs. In addition to evaluation, SCESS provides resources and support for school counselors to improve their practice and enhance their effectiveness. It focuses on academic, career, and social-emotional development, and the aim is to promote student success. Similar to TPES and T-TEST, the counseling rubric helps you determine whether a counselor falls under improvement needed, developing, proficient, accomplished, or distinguished in each dimension. The rubric also provides possible sources of evidence or artifacts that counselors can provide to support where they would fall in each dimension on the rubric. With this evaluation tool, some dimensions will be evaluated as a counseling team and some will be evaluated individually. Each dimension in this presentation will be labeled to show if evaluated as a team or individually. This means that the dimension that is evaluated as a team, all counselors should have the same rating on that dimension. In Dimension 1.1, the school counselor creates a comprehensive school counseling program, vision, and mission statements that promotes equity and opportunity for all students. These statements align with the vision and mission of the school and the district. The mission statement guides how the school counselor plans to successfully reach the objectives in the vision statement. The mission should be intentional and identifiable in the implementation of the comprehensive school counseling program. The team should ensure the vision and mission are evident in guidance lessons, campus activities, and stakeholder relationships. Here's a list of possible sources of evidence counselors can provide. This is the vision and mission statements from Keys Elementary. According to the American School Counselor Association, ASCA, effective school counseling program goals should focus on student outcomes in the following areas. Number 1, promote achievement, attendance, and decrease discipline. Number 2, are based on school data. Number 3, address school-wide data, policies, and practices. Address closing the gap issues and college, career, and military readiness outcomes. And number 4, address academic, career, and/or socially emotional development. To help counselors write their annual student outcome goal plan, they should use the school data summary first. This artifact will help you know why they chose the goals they chose. They will look at the data to help them determine the targeted group of students they want to support. This is the annual student outcome goal plan. This is used to help the counseling team write their department's goals for the year. This is not an individual goal. The mindsets and behavior data helps guide the counselors on what they really want to accomplish with the students. This plan gets the counselors thinking about what they could possibly do to help the targeted group of students identified in their goal. When completing the annual student outcome goal plan, counselors need to have a pre- and post-assessment that they are providing students identified with their goal. The questions should be completed in a Likert scale format and/or brief answer format. A Likert scale is preferred as it allows counselors to analyze their data to determine if their interventions worked. Please keep in mind that their goals should be realistic and measurable. The goal should be a SMART goal, meaning it should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. This document helps the counselors write their goal correctly. Goals should end prior to May so that they can measure if they met their goal for the evaluation meeting with you. The Closing the Gap Action Plan and Results document is the plan the counseling team will use to support the goal they created. This is the intervention they will provide to support targeted students. Everything should be completed at the beginning of the school year except the outcome data results and the implication sections. Those sections should be completed after the end date listed on their goal. This is an example of a completed form. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. School data summaries should be used to help the counseling team narrow down what the counseling department's goals should be, as well as provide proof of campus data. These documents should be discussed at the annual administrative conference. You, of course, can give input or suggest changes based on supporting data in the areas of achievement, attendance, or behavior. Here is a scenario. Stop the video and decide what the counselor should do. If you chose C, you are correct. When you meet with the counseling team, they should be able to provide you with the data used to create their goal, the list of targeted students, and the annual student outcome goals and Closing the Gap action plan and results. The annual administrative conference is a document that outlines a shared understanding between the school counselor and the campus administrator supervising the school counselor. This conference clarifies the school counselor's role on campus and serves to ensure alignment between the comprehensive school counseling program mission and the campus mission. It is a great opportunity to review periodically with your counselor to assess progress. Even though each counselor meets individually with their administrator, the first part, priorities identified, and program goal statements should be the same. This is an opportunity for the counselor to talk to you about their time usage for the year, last year and this year, and their counseling budget, and what professional development they would like to attend, including Region 10 trainings, state conferences, and the national conference. This is a list of possible sources of evidence or artifacts. The counselor should bring their annual student outcome goal plan, Closing the Gap action plan, and the students targeted in their goal, and the yearly calendar provided by the counseling department and edited for you for your campus. They must agree, they must get the yearly calendar approved by you. The Advisory Council is comprised of campus and community stakeholders that review and advocate for the campus comprehensive school counseling program. Here are some possible sources of evidence. The school counselor creates annual and weekly calendars that outline the events and activities that will be implemented throughout the school year. The content in the calendars align with the vision, mission, and student outcome goals. The annual calendar should be created at the beginning of the school year using the template provided by the counseling department and edited for your counseling team for your campus. Each individual counselor should maintain a detailed weekly calendar. Yearly annual calendars are created each year by the counseling department, and each counseling team edits the document for their campus. The most effective comprehensive counseling program designates 80% or more of their time working with or on behalf of students. Counselors are required to submit their time. You can access your counselor's use of time data via the Google Sheet that will be shared with you. Counselors should have a balanced program, and each level has specific time spent in each delivery component. Counselors track their time usage to ensure alignment with best practices. Also, looking at the counselor's individual weekly calendars will show if they have designated 80% of their time providing direct and indirect services for students. Here's a list of possible sources of evidence. The school counselor conducts needs assessments at the beginning of the year with stakeholders to better gauge students' needs from a variety of perspectives, as well as receive possible job performance feedback. It also identifies barriers to student success from various perspectives. This information should be shared with the advisory council and used to drive the counseling program. Here's a list of possible sources of evidence or artifacts. Dimension 3.1 is direct services provided to students in a large group or classroom setting to deliver instruction in the areas of academic, college, career, military readiness, and/or personal, social, and emotional development. Topics should align with the Texas Comprehensive Model 4 strands: personal health and safety, post-secondary readiness and planning, intrapersonal effectiveness, and interpersonal effectiveness. Counselors must present the six state mandated lessons listed. The other lesson topics are based on the data from the needs assessments. Early childhood and elementary counselors are expected to be in the classrooms every 2 weeks, middle school every 5 weeks, and high school every 6 weeks. Each lesson should be a minimum of 45 minutes long, with the exception of pre-K, where 20 to 30 minutes is appropriate. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. The school council will utilize data to guide direct instruction lesson, content, and small group interventions, as well as measure the effectiveness of the prevention and intervention components. This is some possible sources of evidence for this dimension. Direct services are provided to students for individual, small group, or crisis counseling. The counselor provides goal-focused intervention strategies in both individual and group counseling. These sessions should be documented. Pre- and post-tests should be provided for small group. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. In Irving, counselors are required to log all contacts with students, ask for HOA documentation, as well as other tools to document working with students. Groups should also be logged in HOA. Direct services are provided to students to assist with the creation and implementation of academic, graduation, and post-secondary goals. Counselors should be documenting their time working with students. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. College, Career, and Military Readiness, CCMR, is a collaboration of district and campus-specific goals to support the state's mission and prepare every child for success in college, career, or the military. The key to this is that it is not a one-time thing. CCMR activities should be provided consistently throughout the school year. Here are some examples of CCMR supports. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. Indirect services consist of the school counselor working with other stakeholders as a means to advocate for students and their needs. Some examples are collaborating with staff, consulting with parents, providing referrals, and conducting staff or parent trainings. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. The school counselor will seek opportunities to grow professionally and further enhance their skills in order to provide effective academic, social, emotional, and college career supports to all students. The two state conferences that qualifies for this dimension are the Lone Star State School Counselor Association and the Texas Counseling Association, Texas School Counseling Association conferences. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. The school counselor will actively seek to involve students, parents, staff, and the community to foster an environment of collaboration and shared goals. Here is a list of possible sources of evidence. The school counselor exhibits leadership characteristics, is visible on campus, as well as a strong advocate for students in the campus comprehensive school counseling program. This is a list of possible sources of evidence. The school counselor behaves in a professional and ethical manner across the campus and the district. Here's a list of possible sources of evidence. Here's a list of items that can keep a counselor from accomplishing his or her goal. One rule of thumb, when a counselor is given a task to complete, consider what the intention of the task is. So what is your role? You can support your counselors by helping them implement SCESS and asking for artifacts or sources of evidence. You can also encourage professional growth and collaboration. You can also support counselors by meeting with them at the beginning of the year and also regularly throughout the year to review the effectiveness of their program and to make sure the program goal is aligned with the campus goal. Here is some important information for SCESS evaluation. Hold the annual administrative conference within the first month of school. It is optional to have a middle of the year conference. Hold an end of year conference. In this conference, review the artifacts or sources of evidence to help you make the decision on what level the dimension is scored. Here's a list of tools you can use to help you with this process. For questions or additional support, contact Julie Soberanes, Director of Guidance, Counseling, and College Readiness.